Hey guys, first video on digestion. We're talking about the food pathway. I'm going to show you the diagram right at the end here. Just kind of the parts as the food goes through. Obviously food goes into the mouth. It is masticated there, which is a fancy word for chewed. And using our tongue in the top of our mouth, food is shaped in what's called the bolus, kind of like a little football shape. That's the ideal way for food to slide down, the easiest. As food goes into the pharynx, again the pharynx is the back of the throat, there's a little mechanism in there, kind of works like a signal for the swallowing mechanism. And as soon as food kind of goes past that certain point, we swallow. It's innate, little kids can do it, it doesn't have to be learned. Food goes down the esophagus, and the esophagus is a long tube that goes down to the stomach, and it is very muscular. And those muscles work in waves called peristaltic waves or peristalsis that help push the food down. It takes only a few seconds to go from the swallowing mechanism down into the stomach. The stomach acts kind of like a washing machine. It moves the food around. There's hydrochloric acid in there that kills all the bacteria. Again, that's part of our immune system. And at this point in the stomach, all the food becomes liquefied. And once it's liquefied, it can then go into the small intestine. And the small intestine is where most of the action happens. The small intestine has three parts. The duodenum, which is very short. It's like a little C. The jejunum and the ileum are longer. The small intestine makes up about 20 feet of the 30 feet of our gastrointestinal tract from mouth to anus, so makes up about 2/3 of the distance there. In the small intestine, enzymes break down the food. There's very specific enzymes for very specific foods. I'll go into that on the enzyme video. And the food is then absorbed into the blood, and it's absorbed into sort of the usable units: glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids, and glycerol. There's sort of four parts there. One carb, one protein, and two types of fats. From there, there's a little connector called the cecum. That's where the appendix kind of lays off. The appendix kind of like the size of your pinky. It doesn't have any function, but if it gets infected, you have to get it out, called appendicitis. The cecum connects to the large intestine. The large intestine has this kind of square shape. It goes up, goes across, goes down, and then goes towards your butt, sort of at the front of your body, and then towards the butt. And there's four parts: the ascending, the up, the transverse, the descending, which is the down, and then towards the butt is the sigmoid. Those are the colon. So people sometimes refer to the large intestine as the colon. All right, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's close enough. In the large intestine, all of the water is reabsorbed. Salts, bacteria in there, mainly E. coli bacteria, they take the what's left over, the undigested food, and they turn it into a feces or poop. All right, the feces are then stored in the rectum. That rectum has sort of two sphincters. Sphincters are like little muscular openings. They can open and close. When you have to go to the bathroom, all right, those sphincters will open, and the feces will then go out through the anus. Just a quick picture here. You guys have this in your package. All right, we can see in the mouth, you've got salivary glands. There's three types. All right, sublingual, submaxillary, and the parotid. You can see the pharynx is where the food gets into the back. Triggers down this long tube, goes down, comes in behind the heart, behind the liver, into the big bag, the stomach. We can see this mass of small intestines here. We can see the shape of the large intestine, the rectum, and the anus. And you can see some other parts on here that food doesn't go through. They're called accessory organs: the liver, the gallbladder, which stores bile. Bile helps with breaking down fat. The pancreas, which produces most of the enzymes that go into the duodenum, the short section of the small intestine. And we also see the diaphragm here, which you guys learned in last unit, helps with breathing. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.